Okay, hi everyone. This is Nikki, and you're watching the Awesome10x Global Market Update. It's July 14, 2021. We've got some explosive news. The first news, of course, is SRAC, aka Momentus. So there's a filing that there are some. So Gary Gensler, the SEC, has filed against Momentus. Let me just read to you the exact news bit. It's actually a very dangerous thing. So there's no choice but to cut your losses on SRAC tonight if you have any. Yeah, so let's read the news on SRAC warrants. So Momentous and Stable Road consent to pay $8 million in fines, forfeit 250,000 founder shares, and give PIPE investors the ability to terminate their subscription agreement. So this means that SEC is saying that Stable Road had made some wrong claims in their technology, specifically the propulsion technology. I'll read to you the exact statement here. Our enforcement team, so I'm going to read to you what Gary Gensler just said. This case illustrates the risks inherent to SPAC transactions, as those who stand to earn significant profits from a SPAC merger may conduct inadequate due diligence and mislead investors. Momentous misled the investing public. Momentous lied to Stable Road does not absolve Stable Road of its failure to undertake adequate due diligence to protect their shareholders. Today's actions are preventing the wrongdoers from benefiting at the expense of investors and helping to better align the incentives of parties to a SPAC transaction with those of investors relying on truthful information to make investment decisions. So enforcement team worked with incredible speed, efficiency, and creativity to file today's action so that investors will have the benefit of complete and accurate information when voting on the proposed merger. So obviously, because of this, it's obvious that SRAC will not become Momentous anymore. I just don't know who else would be working with SRAC after this one. So you could see here that the SEC announced charges against SRAC sponsor, the CEO Brian Cabot, and their proposed target merger Momentous. The former CEO, Mikhail Kokorich, had misleading claims about Momentous technology and about the national security risks associated with Kokorich. So there's all these fines, there's all these negative headlines here. Momentous is engaged in fraud, misrepresenting the viability of the company's technology, inducing shareholders to approve a merger in which he stood to obtain shares worth upwards of $200 million. So our litigation against Coco Rich demonstrates our commitment to holding individuals accountable for their statements to investors, which are of particular to concern when they're aimed at improperly capitalizing on public interest in popular investment vehicles such as SPACs. So everyone knows actually that people like to find the next SpaceX, the next rocket ship, similar to what Virgin Galactic has proven as a commercial viability. And what SRAC did here is actually capture the secular trend, however, with misleading claims about their technology, specifically their propulsion. So this means that, of course, tonight SRAC is going to open very low, and it takes all the SRAC warrants below it. SRAC warrants are already down 55% tonight. Don't worry about it. Close your eyes. Just sell it and take the loss. We have to cut the loss if we know that we're already at the wrong side. No matter if it opens 90 cents or $1 or something, just exit and then move on. What else is the biggest news to share? All right. So the other news to share is that it seems as if all of the companies are on the downturn. So a lot of stocks are actually falling down. Let's take a look. Most of the shares in general are getting a valuation reset. You've seen actually ARK Invest dump their Chinese stocks. They're saying that it's down. It might continue to still remain down. Let me share to you their Chinese sentiment on their stocks. So they dumped their Chinese stocks, warning of a valuation reset. I'm going to read it for you. So they've been selling their Chinese tech stocks. It's on the crackdown on Beijing's crackdown sector intensifies. So far from 8%, they lowered it to 1% for the Chinese weighting. And the next generation internet ETF has it at 5%, also lower from 18% before. So I do think there's a valuation reset. From a valuation point of view, these stocks have already gone down. However, it could remain down. So the pairing of Chinese tech by one of the world's biggest thematic fund providers underscore how sector is losing their allure as Beijing increases scrutiny of the industry's data collection and offshore listings. Now, if you think about these stocks actually falling down, you will be surprised that despite all these negative headlines, you could see actually that some of these stocks are actually starting to go up. And the reason why Tencent, Alibaba, JD, Baidu, even your Kuaishou has risen, your Meituan has risen for the last few days despite these crackdowns is perhaps because there are also some people who believe in the value presented despite all of these negative crackdowns. So while it remains down, I'd say that your Chinese names, your Tencent, has a strong resistance here at 599, perhaps another resistance here at 570. But you're seeing that huge uptick for the last 4 days as a sign of some people actually defying gravity and buying what's value. This is Tencent. And you could see that Sohu was up last night because there was an approval for Tencent to actually merge with Sohu. So this is what's roller coaster in China. You're seeing that Tencent was blocked the Douyu Huya merger for anti-monopoly concerns, but this one, Sohu, was approved. So there's definitely a lot of mixed reactions when it comes to Chinese stocks. Last night, in fact, Kingsoft Cloud was up already to $30. You could see that people have been buying up from as low as $27 to $31 last night on Kingsoft Cloud. I wouldn't be surprised if Kingsoft Cloud rises to 34.35. And speaking of cloud, Alibaba Cloud is already in Manila. And just speaking about Alibaba, a lot of people are buying Alibaba here at $200 because they still see them as a valuable play. Although cloud is not just something that is, so the businesses of these tech stocks are in general very good. So there are people who are actually long-term investors on them. I'd say that for Awesome10x, well, it could remain down. We kept our drawdowns. We cannot minimize our drawdowns when it's already at 209. So what we're just doing is really just waiting for them to rally back to 230 or 240 before we unload. So we're not really selling any of it. If it goes $200 anytime soon, we're just going to hold on to it. So that goes on for Baba, for JD, for Baidu, and so forth. So we've been buying at these levels. And recently, because JD rallied to 76 or 79, some of us are actually also selling near the top. So I sold my JD at 77 past few days. And then, also take a look at what's happening in the Chinese car segment. So because in general, the market is still seeing 139% growth on GD Auto's vehicle sales. You're seeing that Chinese cars at the moment continues to be very strong, especially when it comes to new electric vehicles. So that goes on for not just Geely Auto, but NIO. Nonetheless, because NIO has already risen to 56, you'll see that there's this huge selling wave from about 45 to 52. So there's really a lot of mixed reaction here because some people might be aware that Chinese stocks are just generally a void for their appetites, perhaps. So they're selling even the winners like NIO. You could see that XPeng is having a hard time to break beyond 40. It's just been staying here at 39. So this 40 can actually break down tonight back to about 32 again. So there's still really choppiness in the Chinese sector. You're seeing as well companies like this one move slightly up. Agora, Bilibili, and YY, some of your live streaming giants are trying to actually go up, but you can see that it's still very low, still at support, 35 to 38 for Agora. Take a look at Bilibili. This one is strong up from about 100 to 110, but will there be a lot of selling pressure here at 120? YY also rallies last night, but very oversold already from 60 to 66. Also, you know that Huya and Douyu, the merger got blocked. So there are some buyers last night for Huya, seeing that there's value. But I would assume that there's also some selling pressure here at 17 and 18 for Huya. And definitely for Douyu, there will be some selling pressure here at $7. Nonetheless, there are some people seeing value already at its peak, buy at the height of pessimism, not at the height of euphoria. So with your Cathie Wood, surrendering the white flag to Chinese stocks, it means that you're really seeing a lot of good bulls actually seeing value, tremendous value, and going contrarian against one of the biggest funds in the world. What else is happening? Yeah, Kuaishou, which is actually fallen down very huge, is also seeing that stop in slump. Perhaps this 148, 150 is getting a lot of love. Some people are buying some of these entities. Kuaishou 155, I took some position as well, seeing that it looks like it can go to about 180 to 200 before I unload. Also, I think that in general, for those who are looking at Alibaba, I'd say that $200 is really a good entry support. So I'm also actually buying as low as I can with my limited cash. But maybe next month and next 5 months, even if it continues to be very low, I'll just be cost averaging my Alibaba. So in general, Chinese stocks, what I've been doing for Awesome10x portfolio is that I'm just really, for my own, just been cost averaging and holding on through the drawdowns of these Chinese stocks, no matter if they're down. So, but if they rally upwards, I'll be willing to sell as well and take some profits off the table if there is that profit. Now, last night, there's also a bill happening. All of your weed names are actually up last night, although it got sold down yet again. You can see that Tilray managed to go up to 17 and then fall down. There's the news actually that marijuana bill in Canada just got approved, and also in New Jersey. Marijuana by legalization put on Congress agenda by Senate Democrats. Schumer and other Democrats are unveiling a draft bill for cannabis decriminalization. This is the MORE Act. So I'm seeing that this MORE Act, which was published last night, will actually propel a move on a positive move on all your cannabis. So that would be Tilray, that would be your Hexo. Also, Organigram went up very huge up last night. So I bought more Hexo last night, even if I already had it about 580. I bought again at $5 and I averaged down to the point that my cost now is 5.3 on Hexo. My average on Hexo is 5.3. I think it's going to go 620. Sundial, all of these names are also going to expect the benefit. Tilray, Organigram surged up a lot last night, up 17% after good numbers. Also, Nokia went up last night after a good number from their revised guidance. And then this one, however, happened. Affirm fell 10% on the back of Apple Pay following the Buy Now, Pay Later program. So I'm going to read to you the Apple Pay Buy Now, Pay Later business model. This is a copycat of course, Klarna and Affirm. So that's why Affirm fell down 10%. Apple's potential for the Buy Now, Pay Later plan is sending the sector shares tumbling. So Apple is working on a service letting users pay for purchases on installments. Afterpay and other Buy Now, Pay Later companies are all sharply lower. So definitely Apple is going to be a competition in the realm of billions. So that's why there's that huge drop in Affirm. I wouldn't be I'm not going to undermine that Apple is, of course, a huge threat to their business. But we'll see how they would fight back because Affirm is already partnered with Shopify merchants. I think it's just going to be making people aware that they can do a lot of buy now, pay later, just like they can pay today through credit cards. So, yeah. So, but it's true that it will really hurt Affirm. I think that news really puts a blow in the entire buy now, pay later companies. Okay, so a lot of selling off in the market. You can even see that even healthcare stocks have been sold down last night. But what do we say about healthcare names going down? Actually, it's not true in the entire world because you could see that in Hong Kong, most of the strongest names are actually in the pharma sector. Example, Wuxi Biologics, 2269 HK is actually 1093 HK. Take a look at these names. These are all Chinese tech, in the Chinese healthcare tech. It's actually rising in the pharma sector. No? So you can see that in 2020, during the March pandemic, around $30, 30 Hong Kong. Now it's trading at 130. That would be Wuxi Bio. Take a look at 1093, Chinese pharma. Pharmaceutical also trying to rise. And see it rose from about as low as 980 and back to 1090. And more importantly, actually strong up, like a strong uptrend as well can be seen. So I'm seeing that the healthcare in general, if you're a little bit bearish in the entire market, don't be bearish on the entire genomic sector or the healthcare sector. I don't think that CRISPR falling down last night is really a cause of concern. I still think that these are still good entries to buy. You could see that earlier in July 8th, you've got a strong buy up on CRISPR at 135 back to about 148. So you could see that these drops are just entry opportunities rather than being afraid. It could fall to 130 or 120, but I'd say that these drops are more an opportunity to buy rather than to sell. That's true for CRISPR, that's true for Beam, that's true for Intalia, that's true for Editas. So you're seeing a lot of sell off on these biotech names, but I'd say that these drops are more opportunities than drops that you have to be afraid of. Beam is okay. Intelia at a bigger drop, let's say it goes 130 tonight or 10% lower, because of the inherent volatility and nature of genetic medicine, genetic editing, you will see people generally take profits off when they see that huge surge. So we'll see. I'm not saying that these stocks will not fall tonight, but definitely I think that biotech as a whole is more of a buy on dips rather than a sell. So example, if ARCG goes down to 84 or $80 anytime within this month, end of the July 30, should see it more as an opportunity to still buy. Okay, so let's take a look at any comments, if any. No comments, so I think I'm just really late today. So I hope that you learned something. Thank you for watching Awesome10x and see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.